The global markets are in turmoil. Tariffs are skyrocketing and China's not holding back either. And behind it all, two men, Stephen Miran and Peter Navarro, who are leading America's tariff war on China. Just a few months into his second term in 2025, Donald Trump rolled out what he called reciprocal tariffs. These bold, sweeping trade penalties were aimed at China, Canada, Mexico, and others who enjoyed a trade surplus with the US. Fast forward to today. These numbers are shocking. Tariffs on Chinese goods jumped to 104% and then 145%. But here's the real story. These tariffs weren't just Trump's idea. They were crafted, championed, and brought to life by two of his most loyal economic advisors, Stephen Miran and the infamous Peter Navarro. Let's first look at Stephen Miran. Miran holds a PhD in economics from Harvard University, where he studied under Martin Feldstein, a well-known economist who advised former President Ronald Reagan. And in December 2024, he was Trump's top pick to lead the powerful Council of Economic Advisors. Miran didn't just support the tariffs, he believed in them. In a 2024 policy paper, Miran outlined how the US could impose tariffs with minimal economic disruption. To him, they weren't just punishment for China, but were tools to reshape the entire global trading system. Citing the 2018-2019 trade war with China, he earlier argued that tariffs raised government revenue while the dollar absorbed the shocks. Here's what he said on April 7th, the day the tariff spike was announced.
If other nations want to benefit from the US geopolitical and financial umbrella, they need to pull their weight and pay their fair share.
Let me first say that I don't think that dollar dominance is a problem. I think that dollar dominance is a great thing. It has some side effects which can be problematic, and I would like to find ways to ameliorate the side effects that dollar dominance can continue for decades in perpetuity. I think that would be fabulous.
Then there's Peter Navarro. You might be familiar with this name because of his recent tussle with Elon Musk. This went down when Musk took to X to call out Navarro about Ron Vara, who's often mentioned in his books and also had strong opinions on the anti-China tariff war. If you have never heard of him, that's because he's not real. Turns out Navarro invented a fake anti-China expert named Ron Vara, which is actually just an anagram of Navarro.
The basis for this most imbecilic and destructive trade war in the history of the world is the profound economic research and policy writings of one Ron Vara, a completely fictional economist conjured up by Trump advisor Peter Navarro, a real person who Elon Musk just called, quote, a moron and dumb as a sack of bricks.
But leaving this online squabble aside, Navarro has played a far bigger role in Trump's office. Dr. Peter Navarro received his PhD in economics from Harvard University and is a professor emeritus of economics and public policy at the University of California, Irvine. As an economist, he has been warning about China for decades. He began working with Trump after the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, stumbled upon Navarro's book Death by China and asked him to serve as an economic advisor for the 2016 campaign. He was an economic and a trade advisor for President Donald J. Trump during the 2016 presidential campaign and joined the White House staff on Inauguration Day. At the White House, he ran the Office of Trade and Manufacturing Policy, an office created to defend American factories and workers. In fact, here's an interesting fact about Navarro, who made history as the first former White House official to be imprisoned for a contempt of Congress conviction. He was sentenced to 4 months in a low-security facility in Miami for his refusal to comply with a subpoena from the House Select Committee that investigated the January 6, 2021 US Capitol attack. Coming back to tariffs, Navarro didn't just advise Trump, he shaped the president's entire trade war playbook. Steel, aluminum, electronics, cars, he wanted tariffs on everything. And not just China, Navarro was the one who pushed for tariffs on allies like Canada and Mexico too. But why? To pressure them on everything from immigration to drug enforcement. Prior to his appointment, Dr. Navarro appeared regularly as a financial market analyst and China expert in US media outlets. He has also authored numerous books on economics, financial market analysis, and macroeconomics, including Death by China, Seeds of Destruction, The Coming China Wars, and The Well-Timed Strategy. Navarro used the same worldview as Trump, which was aggressive and nationalist to push real policies that disrupted global trade and reshaped America's economic strategy. Today, global markets are still feeling the shockwaves. Supply chains are broken and tensions with China are higher than ever. So next time you hear about tariffs, trade wars, or crumbling markets, remember, Trump may have made the announcement, but Miran and Navarro were the minds that made it real.